American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayfla. Hayfla offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture-making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, shop carts, wood glue, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayfla.com.
Wow, I feel good.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good. It's just multiple children outside screaming.
Yeah.
We're joined today by our buddy Bhryan. Is it Bhaaloo?
Bhaaloo.
Bhaaloo Candle Company or Candle Co.
Yeah, Candle Co.
Some people they do the Co and then they stick with the Co when you're saying it, or sometimes they say company. So I'm not sure. What do you do?
I mean, in my life, I just call it Bhaaloo, and I plan on opening multiple businesses, and all of them will have that as like a title name. That's in honor of my dog, whose name is Bear. Still with us for now, thank goodness. But he's an old boy. He's been with me for a long time. So his name's Bear. Bhaaloo in Hindi means bear. So there's a relationship there.
I like that.
Yeah. It's definitely unique. And it, candles kind of have this like ethereal sort of, vibe to them. So it, a unique name, I feel like adds to that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, speaking of like the intangible nature of candles and fragrance in general, I actually have like a little bit of a bone to pick with the marketing. When I first started this company, making social media posts and whatnot, I was trying to like figure out how to do it, where I fit in that whole space. And I almost quit because, pretty much everything I saw was so frou-frou. You know what I mean? Like if you see a fragrance ad, it's almost like, what is it? It's so abstract and unreal.
Oh, you see all the the Dior. And, they're like, let's have Johnny Depp walking down a beach. And then, just some crazy.
Hit a chord on a guitar. Yeah. And a wolf will come out.
Yeah. And he's wearing a tutu or something. It's just like, it's super weird all the time. And I don't mind weird, but I want to be able to make sense of it in some way, So that's where I'm headed with this.
Mm-hmm. So when did you officially start? Like, maybe not even with the company itself, but like when was the first time you ever made a candle?
Not too long ago. I mean, a little over a year ago, maybe almost 2 years. I mean, candles, I think, are a really, really good gift. Home warming, birthdays, whatever. They're a great gift. They last. From a business point of view, it's a great business card alternative. Real estate agent, client gifts or whatever.
I wanted to pick your brain on that.
Let's pick it up, dude.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get into it and make something that was consumable but wasn't perishable.
Right.
There you go.
This isn't engineered perishability.
Yes.
It's just naturally.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of ways you can go with it. There's a lot of different vendors to choose from. Some are obviously better than others, I think. And it's just really accessible. I mean, $500, you could be in the Candle Makers Club.
Yeah.
No problem. So that's
low
how it
startup
started.
cost.
Very low barrier to entry. The most difficult thing is just figuring out how you want to do it and how you want to stand out. But that's anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's any business. That's the hardest. And you could be great at something, but setting yourself apart and all that other stuff, that's really the hard part. There's plenty of people who are masters at their craft who just can't manage to be successful because they can't figure out all that other stuff.
Yeah, you have to be able to put yourself in front of an audience if you're selling something, which it's a thing I want to talk to you guys about. Or I had a question I wanted to ask about your social media. I don't know if now's the good time for it. So you guys, I found you through Instagram as like a degrees of separation from my other interests. It was through like Brad Leone's thing and the salt boxes and 3 Dot. And then I was like, oh, hey, they're right across the street.
Yeah,
right?
like literally.
I think you were moving in when I saw it, which was super exciting. And congratulations on the new space. Of course. But you have a huge following, and I was curious about your, why do you decide to engage in that so much? This podcast included, and like, what are your goals? Or you're just having fun?
Well, so the genesis of the whole Instagram account was, so we worked at this shop and Rob was, I still don't know how to frame it, was temporarily laid off, which it turned into like a
permanently.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this whole thing. You have to know the whole backstory of this guy. But anyway, so I'm still working there, and we had always talked about doing our own thing, and because where we worked, the guy kind of liked to half-ass everything. So we had this grand plan of breaking off and doing everything the way that we wanted to do it. So I was still working there, and Rob was back in his shop, which is where the company started, but Rob had a shop before that. So I created this Instagram account, the Bhryan Woodwork Instagram account originally, which then just got name changed to Greene Street when we started the company. But yeah, so in the beginning, it was really like a way to try and drum up enough business where I could then leave this shop.
An escape plan.
Yeah, exactly. An escape plan. And so that was the very beginning of it. And then it was a lead generator. So I did finally leave. And you have to stay busy. So I was on there cold messaging interior designers, builders, architects. And it was a real slow growth in terms of the social media. So we were in it, I want to say, over a year, it took us to get to like 1,000 followers on Instagram. And then we, I think slowly went up to like maybe like 8,000. And then there was like an insane jump from like 8,000 up to like in the 20s, just like some reels that went berserk. And then it's been a slow, we've been stagnant at like, 31.
30.
Yeah, it was like 31.8. And we finally just ticked into 31.9 for like a year. But I haven't been putting as much effort into the social media.
Right.
But at this point, it's advertising without having to pay for advertising. And B, the biggest part is the networking. So, we have all of these contacts, guys all over the country and the world where, we're bidding this job. What do you think? How much would you charge for this? How would you do this? So it's really a network. It's like a guild, like a woodworking, furniture making guild. But you just do it right from your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's it. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Sort of like replaces in a way also, a web presence, like a website used to be the only way people could find you on the internet. And now everyone's hooked up on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so it's just another way for people to spot you.
For sure.
I mean, that's how the clients find us sometimes.
Yeah. And there's that sort of spontaneous discovery that can happen on Instagram. Whereas like if you have a website, the only way someone's finding your website, unless you have ads out somewhere, is they literally have to search for something, you specifically, or the topic that you have embedded in your SEO, and then they have to go to your website. But on Instagram, we're being fed all kinds of, people that we don't follow all the time. So you might just stumble across, an account.
Just like I did.
Yeah. And likewise,
Exactly it.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful in that way where, you can get out in front of people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get out in front of.
That's right. Yeah. And even for you guys don't do like an e-commerce type thing. But for e-commerce, every social media platform now has like embedded payment processing. So you can just have a business with nothing other than an Instagram account if you have, the reach for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the 3 dot Leone Kenji thing that came from social media. They found us on Instagram. So yeah, it's, there's people who have built empires via social media.
Yeah. 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 But I think you guys are doing great. And it looks like you're having fun. So I hope you keep on keeping on.
You have to have fun.
Yeah.
Even if it's not on social media.
Right.
And what I really enjoy is like doing the YouTube stuff with our buddy John. That's a lot of fun. It's very confusing though. You try and understand what, you put something out and it flops, and then you put something else out and it does well, and you're trying to figure out like, algorithmically, how is this different than, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, just speaking to YouTube specifically, from what I understand, it's part social media, right? Platform, part search engine, which is what I've been reading. So like your title description is your SEO for those posts. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that too. Aside from the candles, I'm doing that Bhaaloo Wildscapes venture. So I have an Instagram account for that, building it up. And ideally that will turn into, green space management contracts or something. I'm trying to use what will be a YouTube channel as like a visual resume. But I got to get a handle on how to get that, in front of people's faces.
Yeah, so, we have a buddy. His name is Austin, and he's a machinist. He's down in Virginia, but his dad created a gardening channel on, I guess, it's Instagram, and now he's on YouTube, called Paw Paw Ridge.
I think I've seen that.
He is freaking huge. He blew up. Some people have this secret sauce, I guess. Yeah. But there's a way to make it happen no matter what. Because there's plenty of people, we see in woodworking, it's not necessarily everything it's how you put it out there.
Yeah, personality and video seem to be, and probably any sort of, media content seem to be like directly linked, no matter what. Because you could just pump out information all day long and be super boring about it.
Yeah.
And nobody cares.
That's what books are for.
Yeah. There's some fun books out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the wax. So it's soy and coconut wax, right? Is it like a true wax?
Yes. So it's a plant-based wax. How I should know more about the process of how like plant oils are, I guess, saponified into that substance. But it's coconut soy. It's unfortunately that's not made in the US. I'm trying to curate, materials that are all made in the US.
Yeah.
But the only available soy waxes that I know of that are made in the US do not have coconut. And I think that's an important addition for just performance.
I think for the aromatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it definitely has, because like I touched it and it's got like a really soft feel to it. It almost feels like coconut oil.
Yeah. And when it comes to like mixing the fragrance products and the wax, coconut wax will maintain a texture at a lower temperature that's more appropriate for mixing, because a lot of these, fragrant compounds are volatile at low temperatures. Yeah. So, I have to, I'll melt it to like 180 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I have to wait for it to cool to like 165 before I mix some things in there, and even lower for some.
It's like if you're making candy, you're making candy canes. You can't put the peppermint oil in.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can bake, you can make candles.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right. Take us to school on candles. Yeah. Like tell us some stuff that we wouldn't know and that other people maybe, they probably don't know either.
Let's go on an adventure. Let's see. So let's start with the wicks. This is the thing that blows most people's minds from what I understand. So not all wicks are created equal, right? So you can see these are double wicked candles that I make. I do that specifically because they're lower. They burn at a lower temperature, right? So that's going to be a reduced rate of burning the wax. So there's two of them. They have like a smaller burn radius as opposed to one with a large burn radius.
Would one be like a larger diameter?
It depends. So there's different manufacturers of wicks, and I think it depends on one, what like the filament within the wick is, and two, the diameter. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are cotton, unbleached cotton with paper filaments. They're about as clean a wick as you can make, as opposed to some have zinc or lead. I don't even know if you can sell the lead ones in the US. Probably not.
Nobody's checking that anyway when they're coming over on the shipping container.
Yeah. So, zinc, I guess zinc, it just burns up. I don't know. But supposedly you're not supposed to do it. So that actually makes this a pet safe. You could call this a pet safe candle. I try not to put that on any copy because I don't know what implications that
even
means.
Like kids,
right.
They say, I forget, up until 1 or 2 years old, like you're really not supposed to burn candles around children,
right.
young babies.
Absolutely. And I mean, there is like a mystery around fragrance, no matter who you are, unless you're the actual manufacturer of like the fragrant compound. It's like proprietary at every level.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can't list the ingredients of what's in that fragrance oil. I can only know that I get it from a vendor that I trust, and I trust them because they, just short of the actual ingredient list, they put out everything.
Right.
They vet their compounds and mixtures, and it's all tested. So, I can appreciate that. And they're the only ones out there that I know of that do that.
Yeah.
It's Candle Science. Yeah. So they're good. And they have 2 distribution centers, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. So I don't have to like eat shipping charges from Texas, every time I place an order.
Yeah. You got to get like a part-time like security job at IFF or something and just like break into the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's fragrance. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. Everything is so like gatekept and secretive,
Oh, yeah.
I bet, yeah.
Especially in the perfumery side, which is where I want to get eventually, because having learned this much about this thing, if I want to go deeper, I have to go.
Yeah.
I have to go there. But so wicks, these are cotton, double wicked, low burn time or low burn radius, which increases the burn time. So more bang for the candle receiver's buck.
Yeah. I've been burning one at home like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's probably about where that one is.
Yeah.
That's been on all day.
Nice. Yeah. They seem to perform really well. So I'm happy with them. I just changed the vessel too. So, it actually improved the performance. I was using a slightly larger one before, and the wicks were sized so that the melt pool would be like just up until the edge. And sometimes that had a negative side effect, but this one, it's slightly slimmer in diameter and seems to be like much, much better.
Yeah. I'll get back into what you were talking about with the candles, but I have a question. When you burn a candle sometimes and like it doesn't make it all the way and you have like that wall of wax that builds up, what's the solution for that? You have to remove it?
Well, there's 2 solutions. One is scoop it out, which is nobody's favorite solution, because then you're losing out on that stuff you just paid for.
And with like a regular, bullshit candle, that wax is like really hard.
Right. Yeah. It's probably a petroleum wax.
Yeah.
And that stuff is super hard. Or even just straight soy wax is pretty hard too. But you could take tinfoil and just kind of make a tube and just set it right on top. And it's going to create like a heat dome, and that'll melt it like in minutes. So easy peasy. I am struggling with that on these a little bit because I overfill them on purpose, because it's better to over than under. Right. And, but it brings like the top layer of wax like too close to the top, and then you lose that heat dome effect on those first couple burns.
Okay. Yeah, because the one that I brought home, I had it in the beginning, and I did that with the foil.
Yeah.
So look at that. I figured it out on my own.
You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all there is to it. And I'm sure, there's someone out there that makes like an aluminum candle heat dome adjustable diameter thing. But you don't need that.
Candles yet.
Yeah. You don't need that.
So is there trial and error in sizing the vessel and the diameter and wick placement and things like that?
Yes. So, I mean, usually the only variable that changes is the fragrance. So as long as you can dial in your wick size and your vessel, then you're good to go. The fragrance doesn't really change the consistency or like the burn rate of the wick. I mean, the important thing to avoid that tunneling problem is to just, your first burn should be longer than normal.
Right.
But sometimes that doesn't work because it's so high. It's just a fact.
You're supposed to liquefy the entire top layer. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. People will say like the wax remembers, with air quotes. It doesn't. It's just, you're creating, I think, a less dense pool of wax in the middle when you do that. So next time you burn it, that's just going to happen. And then the wick reduces in height. And then by the time you do get to fixing that tunneling, then it's an issue. You drown it out or whatever.
What about trimming the wicks? You're supposed to trim the wicks like...
Yeah, you want to trim them pretty much as short as you can, 1/4 inch. They will absolutely light if you try to light them, even if there's only a little bit left. Normally, the thing that's burning on the wick is not the wick itself. It's the waxes and the fragrant oils that are being pulled out of the melt pool.
I've done that before, where you have just the wick in the bottom and you light it.
Yeah, I've given these away to friends, for birthdays and whatever. And one of my friends, man, he just burnt one of the wicks. Because he was like, yeah, it'll last longer. And it ruined the whole thing.
Are the bottoms of the wicks adhesive? Do they stick to the?
That's a yes, but it's a separate thing. So the wicks come in just like the string, and then like a little aglet kind of bit on the bottom.
So you pull it through the.
Yeah, I mean, it comes to me already done. Thank goodness. You can buy like spools of wick and do it yourself, but that's insanity. I would never. And then you just get an adhesive dot, stick them on the bottom.
You have like a little template that you use.
I do have like a little jig for it. Yeah,
I was going to say we can cut you on a laser if you need one.
That would be way cooler than what I do have. The thing I have is such a bummer. It's variable size, so it just like it's made out of nothing. You know, it's made out of like leftover PVC or something. So it just like unscrews all the time.
So you stick the wicks to the vessel and then pour in the wax?
And then pour in the wax, yeah.
Yeah. You have to hold up the wicks, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I have like little holders, I guess. They're just little metal things with holes in them. Just put them right on top. But I run out of those because I don't have that many. So I should probably order more. And then I have to hold them, which is a super pain.
It's like when they're frying corn dogs at the county fair. They got that little thing that holds a stick.
Yes, exactly like that. Yeah. But it's fun, and I mean, it's the best way to make your house smell amazing for days. Make a batch of candles. You cannot get rid of that fragrance, even if you try. So I have to do it upstairs.
This is powerful.
Yeah.
We light it up like basically every day, I think, since you brought it over. But even when it's not lit, the room smells great.
Smells so much nicer.
Yeah, that's a function of the coconut wax. Softening the wax, I guess it increases. You would call that a cold throw. So gives that nice little effect.
Yeah.
And this is a relatively low concentration candle. It's like at somewhere between 6 and 8%. That's proprietary. And I do that because I have a pretty sensitive sense of smell. So I have to, like, just to even be able to participate in this, I have to do it like that. But I also prefer candles that are not,
super potent.
Yeah, people have commented on that and enjoyed it.
That's good. That's good to know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my wife is not a huge fan of like, most scented candles, but she likes this one.
Yeah, nice.
John said the same thing. I think somebody else might have said it too.
Yeah, I can't really breathe almost when there's a heavily perfumed candle, and this is nothing like that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
So what's like, speaking of these like heavily, I think of like Bed Bath & Beyond, they do like that, I don't even, some kind of sale
Christmas
where
time.
women go and they buy like 10 billion of these ridiculous candles. What's the difference between something like that and something like this?
Well, I mean, I can't really speak to what Bed Bath & Beyond puts in their product. As you know, they are 100% soy with a little bit of petroleum to adjust like the, I guess I can't say I know that for sure. They didn't tell me. I read that somewhere. But it's a soy wax with a petroleum additive to either increase the burn time or the fragrance load capacity.
Or lower the cost. Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
We have a winner.
Yeah. And I mean, they probably, they're sourcing their fragrance in bulk. So, I don't even know where they get that stuff from.
55-gallon drums.
Probably in tankers.
Yeah. But one thing that, probably in tankers. One thing that I know about my setup is that I only have to produce a few different fragrances, to be in business. So they're producing, I have no idea how many. And they're trying to accommodate, the general population as an audience, where really I'm just doing the things that I like. And I hope other people enjoy it. So I get to like really dial it in and be specific about what I'm putting out there and, do it as clean as I can. And I hope people like it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. We appreciate the sentiment. That's the way that we like to do things too,
Yeah.
What other, what would you call it? I don't want to say style, but what other fragrances have you done?
So I did like, last year I did 9. I tried to do 3 seasonal fragrances. And then I just didn't do one for the summer. So
not a big candle season, I guess.
Yeah, not a big candle season. And I was kind of like disenchanted with the whole thing because of the, struggling to participate in the social media side of it. But right now I just have this one for sale. I plan on doing a new one every month and then rotating, ones that aren't popular out as needed. So I'm not sitting on like 30 plus fragrances at any one time. Because I mean, investing in just like the raw fragrance compound, that stuff's expensive. I have $1,000 in fragrances sitting in my spare bedroom right now.
What's like the shelf life on that? Pretty long time? Or?
I mean, it depends on how you handle it, but a pretty long time. Yeah. They're in like amber colored specialty plastic containers, and you just got to keep them out of heat and direct light, and they'll last for a very long time.
What's the fragrance like suspended in? Is it like an oil or like a...
Yeah, so if you're buying something called a fragrance oil, it will be, a medley of fragrant compounds, whatever they are, and then there will be a carrier substance. So that is a petroleum product. So, this isn't like totally free of that. I don't know specifically what it is, but again, from the same vendor, they produce the fragrance oils. So I trust them.
Hey, yeah, I mean, there's fragrances in everything.
Literally everything.
Unavoidable.
Even unfragranced things have like a fragrance in them a lot of the times, just to balance out the nasty.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. To neutralize.
Yeah.
We had some like black contractor bags that had like a Febreze or so. I'm like, this is like, I understand for like your house, you go like a couple days too long without changing out the trash bag, but a contractor bag doesn't really call for a fragrance.
Yeah, and you have to either like stick your whole arm in there or wave the whole thing around, to open it up.
Yeah. So what's the next step for Bhaaloo?
Continuing to make fragrances, and also this isn't just like a fragrance candle making like outlet for me creatively. I'm getting into video editing, so I'm just having a fun time doing stuff that I like to do. There will all be candle related videos, I'm sure, but whatever comes to mind. I have the equipment for it. I have the software. Gonna have a good time. March fragrance is designed. The label is designed. I'm iffy on the title, but I have to place that label order like very soon, so I need to figure it out. And that one's really nice. That one's not a fruity. It's like a very woody, almost a citrus, but woody. Very masculine. Very good.
Like the sound of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of citrus. Like I go for a massage like every 4 to 8 weeks. My wife is a hairdresser. She barters with a massage therapist, so it works out great. And she always asks like, do you want me to put essential oils in the lotion or whatever? And yeah, I always go for like something citrus.
Mm-hmm.
What has she been doing recently? Orange and vanilla, which is a pretty good combo.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah. That's a creamsicle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, creamsicle's good. She did cupping on my back. Was it this past weekend? I had never had that done before. My back is like looks like I have like someone like threw like slices of salami at my back. Nice. She's like, they're not bruises. I'm like, those are definitely bruises.
Those are definitely bruises. Yeah, they're just healing bruises. Right?
Yeah, but I don't care what my back looks like at this point.
Yeah, I've never done like a full cupping session. I've had like at home cupping on my neck for issues, but I've never done like the full thing. Was it super weird?
It wasn't too bad. So we did like she usually she just focuses on my upper body because my like legs and stuff are usually fine. It's my back and my neck. So we she does. I lay on my back first, and then I flip over. So when she got to my back, that's when she did the cupping. So it was like whatever. We did like an hour, and then it was like a half hour of cupping. Like when they first sucked them down, because they weren't like the glass kind. It was like a kind that has like a little, like little gun. It's like a little bit uncomfortable. Like it had like a little bit of like a pinch to it, but either you get used to it or it wears off pretty quickly.
Weird.
And then she was like sliding them around
while they were suctioned.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I didn't know they could do that.
Yeah.
Sounds almost unpleasant. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, like a massage, if you're getting like a therapeutic massage, there's those moments of like uncomfortability.
Right. Yeah, when they're driving that elbow in.
Oh yeah.
I guess you have to be taken to that side so you can appreciate the side you want to be on.
Yeah. And it's like if I know that, like if my wife, like sometimes I'll be like, oh, you're on my neck, and she'll do something that hurts. I'm like, okay, stop. But like with the massage therapist, it's like I know she knows what she's doing.
Right.
It's like that she's not going to like accidentally
Paralyze
rupture my jugular vein, you know? So it's not too bad. She does this thing where she like puts my arm back and like grips the pec like inside of my armpit and like moves my arm, and it freaking hurts so bad. But it only lasts, it only lasts 30 seconds. So it's like I can get through that.
Nice. Yeah, dude, a good pec stretch. It's very nice.
Yeah, she's great. I had to cancel my next because I forgot it's my nephew's birthday. I'm like, oh, no. Now I'm pushed to April.
Yeah. I go for massages too. Usually like once a month.
Yeah.
See the same person. That's it. It's once I get into it's funny how there's spots that hurt that you don't know hurt until they get there.
She always does my right arm first.
Yeah.
And then when she's done and walking around, I'm like, I didn't realize my left arm hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Like sometimes like even like your shin or something, like I didn't even know that could hurt.
Yeah.
They'll like get in there and like knead it out. And I loved like the forearm. They like get your fingers all moving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy the relief you can feel. It's like the opposite of when you get like a good workout in, right? And you're like, I didn't even know I had those muscles, kind of thing. Yeah. Rob, are you a musician?
I am. I was going to say I was.
I don't think you could ever unbecome a musician.
Yeah. I picked that. Maybe I heard that on your last podcast. I listened to it. Thanks for the shout out, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. What? How long have you been playing? What do you play?
I play guitar and bass. I started as a bassist when I was 13. So that's almost 50 years ago. And I played in a lot of bands, played in Texas, traveled all around the state, playing in cover bands when I was a teenager, like, 4 nights a week, 4 hours a night, go to the next city. It was in the 70s, it was a completely different kind of thing. Like you'd pull into a town at the club, and that's where everybody of age went. There was no other thing happening. So
yeah, to warrant 4 hours of live music, like you can't find 4 hours of live music around here unless you go to the Pony or something like that.
And it was packed. It was a crazy thing. Got lucky, had some stuff on the radio. And in New York, I became a songwriter, switched over to guitar, and I had some brushes with fame and infamy.
Infamy. That's cool. You came out, right? That's cool, man.
And I sort of, there's this whole thing going on, like in New Jersey, in our area, that I call the senior circuit.
Okay.
It's all people my age, 60s, even older, some a little younger. And they put these bands together and they play all these old, tired cover songs.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah. And it's like, I just refused to be part of that. I had to stop.
Right.
And the band I was playing in wanted to do that because there's a certain sadness.
I can understand that. Yeah.
And it's like, I want to keep, quit while I still have some dignity left.
Right.
I think, and this isn't a dig to any of the people playing those kind of bands, but it's like that's the furthest that those people have ever gotten. So for them, it's like a big deal and it's cool. But for you,
it's a come down.
Yeah.
Right. Nice.
It's like playing for the Yankees and then you're like,
the Blue Claws.
Not even the company softball team.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's been a big part of my life.
Right.
That's
awesome. That's good.
The song, the intro song, that's Rob.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's from 92.
Very cool.
Recorded in a bedroom in San Francisco.
Very, very cool. Nice. That's where all the best things happen, right?
Yeah. That's right. All the best things happen in a bedroom.
Yeah. In San Francisco.
Yeah. Specifically. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 29. Which I heard you say. I heard one of you said young 20s.
That's what that was.
So I'm knocking on 30 . So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that
you
felt,
got the
that
young
felt very
face.
nice. Yeah, thank you.
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
I just turned 35. It's rough.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm starting to like not bounce back from my injuries.
Oh yeah.
Jeff, tell him about that.
I was scraping Steve's door yesterday. Last night I get home, I'm like, man, my arm is killing me.
Yeah.
Like my wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
like when we do installations, the next day, I'm just so sore all the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. My knees can't take it anymore.
Yeah. Fish oil is not enough at this point.
Yeah, I do fish oil and collagen every morning.
Yeah,
and but it does help because I notice if sometimes like I'll run out of collagen and I'll like not order it for a couple weeks just because I don't know, you know how it is. And I'll notice like that my joints hurt more.
Yeah.
It could be psychosomatic. Who knows? But
whatever, dude. Psychosomatic is fine.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel better.
Yeah, for $30 a month, like I'm willing to pay for that placebo.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I have an issue in my upper back that like flares up. Not as recently, or not as much recently, thankfully. But I used to train jiu-jitsu a lot, and that would trigger it all the time. And it used to be like a couple days out. A couple days out, I can go back. A couple days out, I can go back. Whatever. And now it's like 2 weeks plus. If that ever happens, I like don't touch me for 2 weeks. I'm gonna be grumpy. It's gonna hurt. I can't turn my head. It's like a thing.
Yeah. I mean, wait till I hate to say it, wait till you get like up around where I am.
Yeah.
Like sometimes injuries never go away.
Yeah.
Like you hurt your shoulder and
That's just what it feels like.
yeah, your knee.
I got a bad shoulder now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man.
You know, you got to baby it because, you know, you do one wrong thing and you're back to square one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like separated my shoulder. You know, I think not dislocated, but separated where like the, whatever this is separates from the, I'm not
You messed it up.
I'm not a human anatomy expert. And that bothered me. It was from carrying something on my shoulder. I guess it pushed it down. I don't know if it was separated, but whatever. I screwed up my shoulder and it hurt for probably 8 or 10 months. It was brutal because I mean, everything we do in here is we're picking up pieces of plywood, big pieces of wood, cabinets.
You're twisting funny.
Yeah. So Bhryan did jujitsu with, remember Junior?
Oh yeah.
When we first, like before Greene Street was even a thing, we made all those cutting boards and brought them at Gray's. Yeah. Had you ever eaten at Gray's?
Yeah. After I found out that was Junior's spot.
Yeah.
I went there.
That place was so good.
Yeah.
So
I think he's opening something else.
I have been seeing, on his Instagram.
Yeah. Very excited for that. I think, is that in Highlands, Atlantic Highlands? Not sure.
I want to say Atlantic Highlands. It's like a surf and turf place. Yeah. He's amazing. He catered my wedding. In his little, he has like a food truck trailer.
Yeah.
It was great. Short rib. What else do we have? Fluke. Yeah, that was like my wife and I's spot. Was great. It's like if we were going to go out to dinner, that's where we went.
Nice.
So she worked with a friend of his, or maybe his wife. I forget. But my wife used to work with a woman who knew them. So that's how we found out. But yeah, that was a great restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. Super talented. Chris or Shaggy. I don't know what you know him as. The other guy.
Oh, the one that I saw.
Yes.
On your, yeah.
So I call him Shaggy. I don't know how far that name goes. That might be like a jiu-jitsu gym specific thing. But he's a super nice guy. They're both very talented. They're both great dudes. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He used to have the bone marrow. And he'd like bring out a shot of bourbon. You could like drink it out of the bone.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Bone marrow is good.
Mm-hmm.
So what, other than candles and jujitsu, what are you into?
So it's my most recent, but my most potent passion is this naturalized wildscaping or naturalized landscaping. I call it wildscaping because I think it's a cool name.
Yeah, landscaping
idea.
Sounds very manufactured.
Yeah, you hear it everywhere, right? It's like wallpaper. So wildscaping I think is cool, and I think it looks cool written out. But anyway, so landscaping in a visually appealing and striking manner in a way that is both low maintenance and sustainable, also supporting local ecology and wildlife. So I'm learning about that now. I've spent all winter reading up on it, and I feel like I'm in a place now that I can start making informational content. And once it warms up a little bit more, I'm going to head down to Pinelands Nursery, pick up some stuff, start doing my own space as kind of a demo, a video demo. And also I do need to landscape my my area. It was neglected. Yeah, man. So I'm going to be getting plugs and plugs ideally. And I want to go around to people that I know. I mean, yourself included, and just put like a little bit of love into the space.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We even we had to do like the town like made us jump through hoops to get into this building.
Really?
So I had to do like a rendering and everything, and we had like some boxwoods and stuff outside, which we never
back there.
In the front, like I put them in the rendering. We never made good on any of that. I don't know.
We did paint the building.
Yeah,
though.
they weren't requiring
nice.
that we had to make it look exactly like that rendering, but it would be nice to have some. And I looked for some of those like long, and the problem is I don't want to go too deep, like planters. It would be nice to have some, stuff out there.
Yeah. Would you just build planters?
We could.
Like that?
Yeah.
I like the look of like those like concrete kind of ones though.
Oh yeah, those are nice. That would fit in.
They're
I think,
wild
to the
expensive
exterior.
though.
Yeah. You have to find them used like where somebody's just needs them out.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like the concrete textured epoxy planters like that you would get at Lowe's, or like actual?
Kind of just like say like 30 inches high by like 16 inches deep by like long.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can't get that at Lowe's.
No, probably not. No.
Like commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or sometimes they're like black aluminum or something. But I think that would look cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go out much further than the columns.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be just a place for people to put their cigarettes
I
out
know,
and
that's
throw
the-
their. It's we get a lot of trash outside.
Yeah, Main Street is rough.
Yeah.
Or it must be.
Yeah.
But your building's paint job seems to have survived.
Yeah,
which
thank
is good. It
a
looks
couple
nice.
Miraculous,
instances of
right?
graffiti. Yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So our buddy Lou, shout out to Lou at Shore Pro Painting, painted the shop for us. So he went around for like a week and scraped all the loose paint because they had phoned it in for God knows how many years prior painting it. And then he finally got to the priming stage, and we were up in Jersey City doing something, and he called me. He's like, I hate to tell you, he had primed that side of the shop. Somebody graffitied the shop last night. So I went and I looked at the cameras, a bunch of little kids.
Right.
But like a bunch of spots on that side. So luckily it hadn't been finish painted yet. So he was able to just, prime back over it. And then we had, the door's been hit a couple times, but on the corner there, I want to say in the fall.
Yeah.
Or have we gotten the fall yet? What season is it? It's winter. Maybe in the fall. Yeah. Somebody tagged the wall. I was able to get it off, thankfully, but
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't call the cops on that one, but I made sure that, oh wait, no, didn't they do that 2 nights in a row or something? Yeah.
On the side.
He primed over it and then they came back like the next night. But I called the cops just because, it's not we don't own the building. So I want there to be a record, not like we're going to be pressing charges on some children for,
Right.
Throw them a beating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pop their bike tires.
Get them back there to pull the freaking,
Knotweed. Yeah.
They'll be back there forever, man. That stuff doesn't go away.
I know. So we go fishing up in upstate New York in this town called Pulaski, or Pulaski is what the locals call it. It's like an hour north of Syracuse, and there's a section of river that we fish called Douglaston Salmon Run, and it's like a private stretch of river, like pay to fish kind of thing. And there's a couple islands in the middle of the river, and they're overgrown with knotweed. It's insane.
Yeah. It's prolific. I mean, not even just in the Northeast. I mean, it goes so far down south, but it's everywhere. It's just like the tree of heaven. It's like, I feel like they probably both entered like the same harbor, and just followed the same track.
I haven't seen the tree of heaven.
Oh, it's just look anywhere on Main Street. They are all over the place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I, last summer I had to get 9 of them cut down, which really they were all clones of the same one.
Looks familiar.
But they were, I mean, I guess they're probably very hard to identify in the winter when they don't have the foliage.
Oh, those things.
Yeah. But there was one growing out of a crack between a sidewalk and a building down towards the bay over here. I was walking my dog and I saw it and I stomped it out. It's probably, grew back by now though.
Doesn't Virginia creeper kind of look like this?
I'm not sure.
That's the best thing about Google is you can just misspell anything.
Yeah.
And it just,
Oh, that's that ivy.
I guess not. Maybe I've been seeing Tree of Heaven and I've been calling it Virginia creeper my whole life.
Maybe. I mean, it's exploded and its footprint is pretty much identical with the lanternfly issue.
Oh wow!
Because that is they're from the same geography and it's a preferred host plant for them. So if you see one, high likelihood, especially if it's a couple years old, it's covered in eggs.
Wow. What are like some local plants that you think, like if they're local, obviously they do good, but what are some things that would do well here, but are also like maybe threatened, that would, like, I know milkweed, a lot of people plant milkweed because it's beneficial to the butterflies. And
yeah, I mean, that depends. A lot of the conversation of endangerment and like threatened is weird because you can have like a healthy native ecosystem, but like in a native forest, you're not going to have the same species that you'd have in like a native savanna or prairie. Right. So there's things that are just beneficial to plant de facto. And like butterfly milkweed is one of them, right? It's not an aggressive species of milkweed. Any oak, blackjack oak, red oak, white oak, those are all keystone species in this area. So they are host plants for endangered caterpillars and butterflies and moths. So like that's like a pinch point in the food web. So I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy Doug Tallamy. He's kind of from this area, like Mid-Atlantic Northeast. I think he teaches at like UDEL or something. But he is like the granddaddy of the naturalized landscaping movement, especially in this part of the country. He's got many books on it. He just spoke at Monmouth University, but I only found out about it yesterday, and it was like 2 weeks ago.
That's the best.
Heartbroken, man.
You're like this one niche thing that I'm really into.
Yeah. Oh, I would have loved to go to that. Yeah, but I mean, if you have the space for it, oak, low growing oak specifically, and if you have a full sun environment that's pretty dry, butterfly milkweed. I mean, those are just those two alone will support so many species. You'd be doing the world a favor.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I can appreciate like looking at a nice green lawn, but there's just something about it. It's very uninteresting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nicely landscaped with like, areas of, when they sort of have like an island of like, a couple trees, maybe like a big rock.
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The two things that I will be pushing against, I think pretty religiously going forward is, resource intensive turf lawn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like if you have to water your lawn every morning.
Yeah. And bare ground or / excessive mulch in a bed. Mulch is good. It's ground cover. It prevents, light exposure and whatever that weed seeds need to germinate, but it's not doing anything other than that, and then you have to replace it because it breaks down.
Right.
So you can, instead of just doing mulch, you can do mulch your first year and then do low growing ground covers that have like deep tap roots, that will bring up water from the water table, and that'll help feed other early successional species that you plant.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah, I need something like that around my house. Suck up some of that water.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got a whole story about that if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's do it. We got nothing but time.
So I live in Keensburg and I have a basement, right? So that's a horror story in and of itself.
I'm in Leonardo and I have a basement, so similar.
Yeah, I've got water in my basement too.
Oh man, it's a mess, or it can be a mess. But I hired Quality First Basements up in Cliffwood to do a redo of my French drain. There was like a DIY job or something when I moved in, with a sump that was failing, and that was tied into my main sewer line, which I don't think that's supposed to be a thing. No. And every time it went off, which was very regularly, my shower drain would like gurgle.
Improper venting.
Yeah, so it was
I have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put up your hand. If somebody
They're
did
like, yeah, this
something.
whole house has 1-2 inch vent.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So it was a mess, and they came in. They did a fantastic job, but my property is landlocked, right? So I can't. Where does that water go?
Mm-hmm.
So new sump system, drain works great, but the water is all just in my yard. So after I had that done, I thought, you know what, this is okay. You know, having surface level water, that's fine. If I plant something, I'm gonna have to water it anyway, probably. So let me do like a rain garden style water catchment, so I can like sequester it all in one area, and then I have the rest of the yard to do whatever I need to do. And I completely underestimated the volume, dude. I just have a swimming pool. I did like a pitch and everything, and did like rocks and mulched and whatever, and it was just terrible. So bad. So now I have to dig all that out and do like 1 to 2 dry wells with a French drain run outside.
Jeez.
Which is fine. I can do it. I just
Yeah, I have so we have 2 leaders that come down on the highway side of my house, and then one that's on the other side. So basically the entire load of the whole roof is coming to one side, and it goes into, black pipe in the ground, and it goes out to the highway. But I know those pipes they have to be jacked up, over, I don't know who put it in or when. But yeah, that we had that crazy rain in the spring where it rained like 5 inches in like a day.
Mm.
And then I guess it's like 6 weeks ago we had a lot of rain. And then what was it? 2 weeks ago we had a lot of rain, and I had water in my basement. All 3 of those.
Yeah. Hope you have a wetback.
Oh yeah. And I bought a surface pump for this last one, thinking that
Water bug.
Yeah.
I got one
it's
too.
just sitting in the box.
Nice.
But it's ready for the next.
Well, it's better sitting in the box than in use. Ideally, that's where it stays, right?
Yeah, that the one in the spring, I think for about 10 days we had water, or maybe more, 2 weeks we had water in the basement. And, I could vacuum it up all day, and it would just, the sump can't keep up because it has to hit the bottom of the slab before it goes over there anyway.
Right.
So it's just coming through any little crack in the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, man, don't put basements in your wet side houses.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
I filled some cracks between the 2 rain events ago and this most recent one. And the ones that I filled didn't leak, but it created leaks in other areas because it was like, oh, now it'll just come up over here.
Yeah. Now.
And those ones are not accessible.
Yeah. At least I know where to look for the water in my basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It likewise comes up through the floor.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. When I moved in, there was already a drain system installed. So it was just completely clogged up.
Like a perimeter drain?
Perimeter drain, yeah. So
that.
It would just come up through the holes that were in the drain. And it was just like, it would come up at rates that were completely impossible to keep up with.
You have a slop sink in the basement?
No.
Yeah. So, you don't even have a good option. It's like you have to put it in the sump pit.
Yeah.
And then the sump pump is just like,
you
have a crazy sump pump?
But now I do. Now I have
Is it Zoller?
No, it's, I forget the brand. It's whatever Quality First Basements uses. I think it's like a Home Serve brand or something like that. I don't know. The guy that owns that company has like 1 billion patents on this kind of equipment.
We need to call them.
They're good. I mean, they're pricey, but they're really good, and it's all warranted, so it's good work. But they installed some like triple safe pumps. There's a sump, a backup, and then a battery backup.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I feel safe. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I'm looking at like a 600 or no, it's like $1,000 Zoller, and it has a battery backup, and when it is ejecting the water, it's actually charging the battery. So like the power could go out and your sump pump will continue to work.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
I don't know. They've been around for a while. I never looked into them until recently. But I just have, excuse me, some bullshit Everbuilt or something that they put in like right before we bought the house because our realtor went over and she's like, oh, there's water in the basement. They're like, we'll replace the sump pump.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was buying this house, it had rained. It just happened to have rained the day before. Every single day I went to look at it for whatever reason. And
that's good.
It is good, but I was like, okay, let me check the basement. Never saw water up until the final walkthrough, hours before closing. And I was like,
well, I'm in too deep now.
I got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was like a whole oil tank situation. So this was like a months long closing process that I just needed it. I needed it to be done. You know how it goes.
When did you buy the house?
2020. So
you got in Keensburg ground floor.
Sure did.
You might be able to retire off that house.
I would love it. I would love that.
I mean, odds are pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's definitely, I definitely got a good deal. Definitely has some equity. But there's no beating that interest rate. So like, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
You know,
We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
We can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought a house in Leonardo, with like a two and change interest rate or like a 3.0, something like that. And now like the value it's like increased by 70%.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is, where can you go?
You can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Buy a houseboat or something. I don't know.
RV.
Yeah. So you live really near the shop.
I can see the shop from my backyard.
See the lights come on at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm probably still snoozing at that point, but yeah, man, which I didn't realize up until I had come here, and then I was letting my dog out a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, that is the shop right there,
Yeah.
But previously the tree of heaven was blocking that when it was all filled out, so I just never noticed. But yeah, I left my house at 2:29. I got here 2:29 and 30 seconds. So it's quick.
Yeah. That we endeared ourselves to the neighborhood when we painted the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was it? I don't even remember what this building looked like previous.
It was like a peeling grayish kind of paint, but there was like, all the windows were boarded up. The doors were boarded up. The knotweed was above the roof in the back. Yeah. And it's like, the roof is like 14 feet. And it was well above. Inside,
oh God,
it's like inexplicable how bad it was. It was bad. Roof caving in, people squatting in the building. It was there was no electricity, so we had like a Makita like spotlight. I don't know what we were thinking.
We came in with some
we can make
rose colored glasses.
Well, I mean, it looks like you materialized it. Place looks great.
Yeah, this is the one area that we haven't done anything, which I'd love to soon.
What? Like what?
This office itself. Aside from, you could see where they had filing cabinets for God knows how long. It's like there was like a deer right there or something.
A deer head.
Yeah. There's like some plaques over there. Yeah. Those clipboards, if you move them, you can see the outline of the clipboard. You're probably like smoking cigarettes in here for like 60 years.
Yeah.
This was like a machine shop. I think going back to like the 40s. And there's still like areas in there that are soaked with oil from the, lubrication of like a lathe or whatever. But we're happy to like get into a building that used to be used for manufacturing and now is again, rather than see it just like leveled and they put up like some condos or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy with what you guys are doing as a resident. So it looks nice. And it's remarkable how good it looks, especially in your shop compared to, what you describe it to have looked like. It's nice, big, brightly lit, open space.
I wish we had taken some pictures. Yeah. It was kind of impossible.
Yeah.
You needed flash photography.
Yeah. We didn't have any electricity.
Yeah. Like there was no, there was like an outlet by the panel and there's some outlets in the ceiling, half of which don't work. But, aside from that power in here, like we had to run all new power. It was crazy. Very crazy.
Do you know how long this was vacant?
At least 5 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I was going to guess 8.
Because our landlord bought it in 2019. We moved in 2023. And I'm pretty sure no one was in here for a while before he bought it.
Wild. Do you know if he bought it with the intention of renting it out or was he going to do something here?
If he had the intention, he wasn't trying very hard.
Okay.
Because, it took him 3.5 years or whatever to find somebody to get into it. Which is I don't know, seems crazy. I guess because it was in such bad shape. Part of the whole thing was like he put a new roof on the building, and cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah, emptied out all the debris.
Yeah, which there was a lot of.
Yeah.
Did some, you see like
minor repairs.
Yeah. We're like, you could probably just like sheetrock the whole ceiling while you're at it. And they're like, we'll just like put this piece here. They're like, that's fine.
But we had to get the toilets running. I mean, we had to do everything.
Yeah. It was a money pit.
You guys have any idea what you want to do in this office?
We'd like to like have a nice functioning office, definitely keep an area for the podcast. And just, like build ourselves nice, like whatever, nice desks and cabinets and stuff. Not so much as a showroom, like, hey, look, we could build you this. It's just like a representation of what's possible.
Yeah.
Like when you walk into like a kitchen design showroom or whatever, and you see all these like fake kitchens.
Yeah,
it just
not
seems
mock-ups.
very.
That's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, it's more like I'd rather build stuff that's way nicer, and then it's like, well, you could have this, but we could do. Obviously, if we did this, we could do anything that you want.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where we just have to actually decide to start doing something. Otherwise, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
We'd like a big window there would be nice, but that's
where this
missing paneling is. It looks like there must have been a window there at some point, and they blocked it in.
Yeah, because you can see the cinder block
framed out.
I guess they needed more office space.
More space for their plaques.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What kind of tree is this on your American Craftsman and Greene Street Joinery?
That's the tree of life.
Logo? Oh, that is the tree of life.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just a nondescript. I guess with those shaped leaves.
I guess I would be the one to identify that, right? I don't know. We'll call it a sycamore.
Okay. It does have sycamore vibes.
Yeah.
Sycamore's the city tree
of Keensburg. Is that why they're everywhere?
No, I mean it's a city. It's a city tree.
Oh yes.
Like in Brooklyn, they planted.
Yeah.
1 million sycamores.
It's a big tree in this area.
Yeah, and I guess they can withstand an urban environment.
Yes, they are pollution resistant.
Huh. Yeah, you go to Shrewsbury, it's like sycamores everywhere.
Yeah, they're also. I mean, if you're planting an American sycamore, I don't know like the species name, but those are native to New Jersey, the whole state. And there's a bunch. There's like 2 big ones right across the street from you guys.
Really?
Well, like catty corner over there. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't do much time looking.
Yeah,
we don't just look outside much.
Yeah, just when there's a commotion.
Yeah.
Like when that person took out that fire hydrant. Do you remember that?
No.
Did you live here then?
I definitely did, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I saw somebody run through my neighbor's gate over here at the top of Bhryan Place.
God.
But
I forget.
Fire hydrant.
It was
she was on her phone.
The summertime, yeah. She slammed into the back of a parked car and then pushed that car into the fire hydrant and knocked it over.
No.
But unfortunately, water didn't shoot out of the ground.
That would have been poetic. That would have been nice.
Yeah. We learned something, though, that the shutoffs are below ground.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I just never thought of it. It's like when you see a fire hydrant get knocked off, you expect water to come out.
Right. Well, that's what the media has fed us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like the movies at all.
Dang it. We'll have to redo it.
A lot of, small accidents right here.
Mm-hmm.
We had one of our delivery drivers in like, I don't know if he was in the tractor trailer or in just the box truck.
I think like the big box truck.
Like a 26 or 30 some odd foot box truck. Someone just like smashed into the like side of it, like sideswiped his huge metal bumper.
Her mirror comes flying off.
Yeah.
I mean, and then she stops like, halfway down the block.
She's like, "Are you guys okay?" It's like, we were inside.
nuts. Dude. Yeah, people drive pretty crazy on this road, especially in the double parked area up by like the liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts up there.
Yeah, every day when I leave over there's somebody, trying to sneak out and cross the street. Because I think people park in I always forget what it is, Dollar General?
Something like that, yeah.
The dollar store, and then they walk across to the liquor store. So they're always trying to, jaywalk, between cars.
Oh, man. Yeah, especially at night. It's nuts. I was blinded by like an oncoming truck the other day, and I was slowing down because it was double parked, and it was a big truck, and I thought that they were coming through, but they were stopped for a pedestrian, and I couldn't see her. She was between me and the headlights, and I saw her just in time. Got to stop, thankfully, but that was like, that could have been bad.
Yeah, it's scary.
So as a full-time Keensburger, what do you recommend for food?
Oh, man, I'm the worst person to ask. There is, I don't know the name of it. It's a newer Mexican spot up the street on Main Street.
Is that Delphi?
Delphi's?
It is Delphi's. Yeah. So they were good. I like them a lot.
I've heard that's good.
Yeah.
Jackie from Timber
Yeah,
said
that's two recommendations. We'll have to try that.
Yeah.
They're good. I haven't been to that new Half Moon spot down the street.
It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I've been there for music. A friend of mine, Lee, who's actually a luthier,
Oh, wow.
played there over the summer. But that's about it. I do a lot of home cooking. So
What do you like to cook?
Tasty stuff.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
No sense in cooking if it's going to be bad.
Right. I eat pretty clean. Honestly, it's pretty boring. So chicken, rice, vegetable a lot of the time. My mom taught me some Indian cooking. So I do that every once in a while. Some keema. I'm not very good at it. I haven't done it too much.
I like Indian food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Neelam?
Of course.
It's like the only, it's the only
course.
Indian. Well, actually, there's Haldi Chowk. Yeah, that place is good too.
That place is good. The guy that used to own it, I don't think he's involved anymore.
I think
Deepak.
the chef bought it, right?
Something. I think so, yeah. But the old guy used to train at Garden State
Oh,
Jiu-Jitsu
cool.
with me, yeah. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Oh, man. The best Indian food I ever had was, what's his name?
Oh, Anand?
Anand. It was a client of mine, and they were so gracious. Like I was on the installations, let's say 4 days. We'd have to stop every day, and I'd eat with the family.
Nice. That's the best.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same kind of Indian food that is prevalent in the restaurant.
Right.
I can't remember I think she said they were from the South. So it was all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it was all so good.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's Northern Indian is definitely the common Indian restaurant cuisine around here. Yeah, Haldi Chowk does do a little bit of both. That sounds like a gift, man.
It was, I didn't know what anything was. And, so the excitement of like eating all this new stuff and it being so delicious.
How do you do with spice?
It depends. I like spicy, but sometimes if it's too much where that's all that I'm getting is the spice. Yeah, it might be too much. Like I love Mexican food, but I usually go somewhere in the middle with the spice there.
I like spicy, but I get the hiccups.
Oh,
yeah.
Dry hiccups, I hope.
I guess. I don't know.
So. You'd know if they were not dry.
They haven't been wet, I can say that.
Good. Okay, those are the worst. But yeah, spice level fluctuates, I think, depending on everything else that's going on,
So what style of Indian food is your specialty?
I don't know that I would consider any style my specialty, but it's probably North Indian. It's more like a wet curry than like like a drier mixture of legumes, chickpeas, paneer, stuff like that you might find in the South. Paneer, yeah.
I like paneer.
Yeah. Nice.
I used to get at Trader Joe's was a palak paneer. It's like a spinach.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I know about that.
Even just like frozen from Trader Joe's, it's good.
It's Indian food. I mean, if it's like in a curry style, if it's very sauce heavy, it freezes like no problem.
What did I get at Neelam is the chicken korma.
Chicken korma is always a great one.
It's like a coconut milk, and I think that's good.
Lamb sog is my go-to. Especially if I'm trying a new place out, I'll order the lamb sog. That's how I know.
There's not many foods that I don't like.
Yeah.
Haldi Chowk, man, I haven't been there in ages. I forgot that was even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that place, I think, a little bit more than
It's definitely a little more like
Neelam.
Like Neelam, to me, it feels equivalent to like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And maybe it's more authentic than that. Like,
Maybe it feels a little dated, you mean?
yeah, just like a little bit like catering towards like an American palate.
Yeah.
Whereas
Mhm.
Haldi
Yeah.
Chowk maybe is a little more like true to what it's actually supposed to be.
It's like a chef-driven experience.
There
kind
you
of
go.
thing. And also, it's just more brightly lit in Haldi Chowk. That's like my number one feedback.
Mhm.
It's just so dim in Neelam. I love them. Their food's great. I've been going there for years. It's just dark in there.
Apparently in, what is it? I know Edison, there's a bunch of really good Indian restaurants, but more south of here, not Ocean, is it Ocean Township? There's supposed to be a place that's really good.
There's a new spot in Shrewsbury. I forget what it's called. It's on 35, I think. But that could be it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to try Half Moon. Half Moon's good. Have you been, what about Julio's? You like
No?
enjoy
Never been?
pizza? Julio's is good. That's right before Dixie Lee.
Yeah.
They have another place in Atlantic Highlands on First Ave. Good pizza. They make a pickle pizza, which is very good. It's like a garlic white sauce with pickles on top.
I'm down with that.
It's good.
Yeah. I get the gluten-free pizza there too sometimes.
Yeah, that's what my wife gets. That's like her. If she wants
Yeah.
pizza, that's where she goes because they have a good gluten-free.
Nice. That's important, man. I remember, 10 years ago, gluten-free, everything everywhere, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think we've come a long way in the
Yeah.
gluten-free world.
Oh yeah. You ever try to make like I was going to say macaroni, pasta, like the
Yeah.
but now there's
Yeah.
stuff that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been doing keto for like 6 or 7 years. And, my wife sometimes kind of groans about having to do gluten-free. I'm like, listen, I could do this like easily. Like they make everything gluten-free.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can eat anything. Like there's no keto. I mean, they make some stuff, but it's really, if you're trying to actually do it, most of this stuff that's labeled keto, you
It's
really
fake
can't.
keto.
Yeah. Like that was like we bought those from Costco. It's like keto coconut clusters when we went fishing, and I'm eating them. Like, man, these are good. And I look at the thing. It's like first ingredient was agave syrup. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how can
Can't
they
have
even
that.
put this on the? Yeah. But yeah, they got gluten free
Yeah.
pretzels and bread and pasta,
And it's good now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really good.
The Utz gluten-free pretzels,
Yeah.
delicious.
yeah. Actually, so my parents, obviously started buying some gluten free things like when we'd go over there. And now, like, my dad eats the gluten-free pretzels because he likes them better than the regular.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. I used to work at a vegan bakery over in Mattawan, and
Oh, Papa Ganache?
yes, yeah, and their gluten-free stuff sometimes, not always, but specifically their brownies and their rainbow cookies, better than their non-gluten-free.
Yeah, I feel like brownies especially lend themselves really well to gluten-free.
Yeah.
Because you get that fudgy.
Yeah,
like,
nice
it's hard to
and
get
dense.
something really light with gluten-free because you can't get the gluten to, not that you want gluten in brownies, but like bread. I came home Monday. I'm like, what's that smell? It smells good. My wife had made gluten-free focaccia bread. She's like, yeah, but it's kind of like gummy. I'm like, well, yeah. I'm like, there's no gluten or there's no yeast in. Well, maybe she used yeast, but there's no gluten to like make those bubbles to make it.
Yeah, it's a science, man.
Papa Ganache, yeah, that place is like the legendary. It's vegan and vegan, and then they have gluten-free.
Yes, I mean, it's been a while since I worked there, but I think everything Papa Ganache is vegan, but they also have like a line of gluten-free products, and I think that's like a significant portion of their mix. I think since I have worked there, they have a gluten-free dedicated kitchen because they've expanded their wholesale. So I think in order to be compliant and stuff, they needed to do that.
Yeah,
multiple occasions. They seem to be doing pretty well.
Wow.
There's a place in Aberdeen. What the hell is it called? Alternate Endings Brewery.
Yes,
and
I
they
like them.
have the food from Tallulah's.
Yeah,
man, that pizza. I think all that stuff is vegan. That pizza was really good.
So good.
They do like sesame seeds on the. Yeah, man. Went there for my wife's Christmas party.
Tallulah's, where are they? In Long Branch or
Asbury?
Asbury?
Yeah, I was off the wagon for that one. They had what kind of squash was it? Squash fries. But I can't remember which. Maybe it was kombucha squash or kabucha squash. That they cut into like, French fries and with like some gochujang or something.
Ooh.
Oh God, it was good.
Sounds good. Yeah, that place is always a treat to go to. Their deep dish pies, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
The little 9x9s. Salads are great. Beer is really good.
Yeah, the beer was good. Did you try like the foamy beer that they have?
The slow pour.
They have like some kind of tap that it'll pour a beer that's like all foam.
Yeah, I think it's one beer that they have, and then when you slow pour it, that's the thing, which is like an extra charge, which I don't know.
And it's like less. It's less beer.
But it takes like I saw them do it one time. It takes a long time.
And then you're supposed to chug the beer.
Oh, really?
That's what they told me.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. But no, I never got it. I saw it.
I'd say go for something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but their beer was good.
Are you guys big beer enthusiasts? Like local brewery?
I really don't, because I'm keto and now I really can't drink beer.
True.
But I used to work at, I don't know if you ever heard of Twin Light Tap House in Highlands, which was like the prolific craft beer bar in this area.
I don't know about, are they affiliated with like the Twin Lights brewery guys these days?
Yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't know because they closed in 2012 with Sandy. Right. So it was like a couple years prior to that. But yeah, that place was like, we had all the rare beers, limited releases, firkins, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Very cool.
We used to do a beer of the week.
Yeah.
Here on the podcast?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, first 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Then we started like trying to record 4 episodes in a day, like one day per month, do 4 episodes. It's like, yeah, there's no way that we can do this.
Because of all the beer?
With 4 beers, yeah.
Nice. So, yeah, one person would buy the beer.
Yeah.
And then it would be a surprise for the other person. And then we'd crack them open at the beginning.
Give our tasting notes.
Yeah.
That sounds like
give our opinion. And so we were always getting, something that you'd never heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you? You into beer?
I was more so a few years ago. I don't drink much these days, so
that's our problem too.
Yeah, we don't really drink.
Yeah, just on whatever.
We go out or something.
Yeah, it's fun. It does turn into an expensive hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, especially if you're doing like the local craft scene, which is the way to do it. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to save that money.
Yeah, and like, early on you run through all of like the, like I drank every Stone beer, every beer from Rogue, every beer from, and then you get into like, oh, I'm gonna get this Evil Twin 4-pack. It's like $27.99.
Yeah.
Or you start buying single bottles, KBS or what else? I forget. I'm so out of it now, but some of the McKellar beers. Yeah, I have a Stein hops and barley tattooed on my leg. I was super into beer. I brew my own beer.
Oh yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
that's something I would like to do.
Yeah, it's cool to watch the whole process of fermentation, and I mean, I think you have to do it a lot of times to make like really good beer. Like the beer was drinkable, but
right,
it's cheaper just to go buy a 6-pack.
Yeah,
of something that is going to taste good.
Yeah, I know somebody who was brewing beer for about 30 years now. And when he started, I was like, what is this? Who brews beer in their basement? You know, it was such a foreign concept to me. Yeah. This whole thing, I guess he was like really in at the ground floor of this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, come on. All your relatives are making wine in the basement.
Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah. They made everything.
Nice.
Yeah, back then they'd get like their little shipments from the other side, from the farm. But it's like, you were talking about how your mom, taught you some Indian food. Mm-hmm. That's sort of how we maintain some of our cultural identity here in the U.S.
Right.
Because, we all sort of become American and meld together. And like I'm first generation American. I couldn't be more American.
Right.
You know, and so to me, it's interesting to watch like the kids of like, somebody from Mexico or something like that. The parents barely speak English. The kid, he looks like he's Mexican, but he's as American as they come.
He went to Kingsburg High School.
It happens in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And so it's always interesting to me to watch that because, I think back, it's like, oh my God, it's like, that's my experience, although I don't remember it much. You know what I mean? It's like I'm so far removed from that. Yeah. But you got to keep it in perspective. It's like we all did this at some point in time.
It's definitely valuable to maintain some family history.
Yeah,
in that way.
Yeah, a lot of times too, the first generation sort of has a rejection towards the that culture because they don't feel like that's their identity. They feel like they're an American. So it's like Felix and his son.
Yeah,
Felix and Felix.
Exactly. I mean, in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
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 I used to see it a lot in San Francisco, in the Chinese community where the kids, like there'd be little kids, like 7, 8 years old. They'd be translating, if you're in a store or something like that, not even an accent.
Right. Yeah, man. They're living it.
Yeah.
First generation.
Yeah. Oh man. So are you from this area? Were you born in Monmouth County?
I've lived in Monmouth County for most of my life. I moved around a bit as a kid, but I was born in India.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born in Madras. Yeah, family's from Indore, which is on like Madras is on the east coast. Indore is like central west. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the geography of India, but
it's big.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what we know. It's big.
I watch a travel guy. I watch a couple. One, I watch like most of his stuff. I don't know if you watch any travel guys on YouTube.
Outdoor Boys mostly. I don't know if that counts.
We were just talking about Outdoor Boys. Yeah. I was watching all of his stuff. I'm giving myself a break right now. His stuff is cool though. This guy, Bald and Bankrupt, he's a British dude. He goes all over. He actually did the what do they call it? There's a path from Venezuela to the United States through a jungle. Like it's how, if you were trying to immigrate to the United States, you would take this like dangerous path through a jungle. I think the jungle's in Panama. And he did that with this Greek dude. And like people like die. It was crazy. But he goes to India a lot. And chaotic is like the one word that I think of. 'Cause there's just so much going on like in this. And I'm, obviously that's like in the cities and stuff. Yeah. And it's, you can find that in New York, but there's just so much going on.
Yeah. It's insane. I mean, I not from a firsthand experience. I don't remember any of it. I was an infant when I came over, but my cousins who grew up there, I was talking to my cousin Jana the other day, or a couple weeks ago at this point, I guess. Months? Wow, it's been a long time. Anyway, time goes by so fast. But I was talking smack about New York City being like just super busy, like you were saying, and like kind of dirty in places. You enter in Penn Station, you're like, what the heck's going on here? Right? And we're from the beautiful, clean suburbs of New Jersey. So quite the disparity. And I was saying something about it, and she's like, "Oh, it's like nothing compared to XYZ town, Indore, I guess, even with the population, I think exceeding New York City, probably a bigger footprint of a city, but the roads, just like the volume of life that's in that space, it's got to be crazy."
Yeah, I had a kid working for me from India, and I learned something that I had no idea. He had like a Latin, like a Hispanic name.
Oh yeah,
and
he was from Goa.
He was from the part of India that the Portuguese had settled. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, that would be Goa, which is the western central coast.
Yeah,
it's like the Hawaii of India.
Oh, they surf there, right?
They surf there. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice spot. My uncle lives there.
Oh.
And it's a heavy Portuguese
at first
influence.
I thought it was like Are you kidding me? Like, are you like funning me? Like trying to like get...
Well, that's like Romania. Have you ever heard a Romanian person talk?
No.
Sounds like they're speaking Spanish.
Oh, really? Romania is...
Romania. The Romans, settled. So it's not. I guess it sounds more like Italian. To me, it sounded like Spanish, but they're both Latin based. So they don't have that Eastern European, more Russian sort of sounding language. They sound like they're speaking Spanish.
Wild.
Yeah.
Romania is Eastern Europe, right? Actually,
Yeah.
Crazy.
I can't place it on a map, but it's definitely over there. Yeah, first time I heard that, I was like, what? Actually, same guy, that travel guy. He was in Romania. I'm like, where is he?
Wild.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are from New Jersey for the most part?
Just from Jersey. I'm from New York.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in Mercer County, out in West Windsor, Princeton kind of area. And I've been out here for 13 years now.
Cool.
I've been in the area for 22 years.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm from Brooklyn and lived out west for about a dozen years. But I'm a New Jerseyan by any stretch. I mean, I the longest I ever lived anywhere else was, let's say, in any state would be 4 years. So I've been here for 22 years.
Wow.
You got you locked in.
Once you change the plates, it's official.
Yeah.
There's plenty of New Yorkers living in New Jersey with New York plates still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it here. I think it's a nice area.
Yeah. I like this area, the Bay Shore.
Yes.
It's nice. The proximity to the city, excuse me, the beach, everything.
Yep. International airport. You can go anywhere.
Yeah. You have, 4 to choose from. You can go LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, or Philly's really not that far.
Right.
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Teterboro if you got money.
Yeah, man. Cool. It's a great place. I'm excited to be able to invest time and creative energy into this space. I recently learned about a group. Tell me if you know it. Monmouth County. No, I'm sorry. I should know this. Only learned it yesterday. Monmouth Conservation Foundation. I think it's a nonprofit.
No.
They I guess they partner with municipalities and their donors, and they purchase green spaces Huber Woods, like parks, and they do their conservation thing, and it's really, really cool. And I want to do something very similar to that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
you should get linked up with our buddy John. He does a lot of lawn stuff, but he tried out the I don't know what you would call it, where you kind of just let it go, do whatever it's going to do, and he cut some paths and stuff into it, and I thought it looked really cool. And I think he had some hang-ups about how it was going, but he might be interested in some tutelage on your end.
That's very flattering. Yeah, thank you. That's the kind of thing that I want to get into. So yeah, absolutely.
He's got a nice piece of property.
Yeah,
He's got room for all kinds of cool landscaping stuff.
Yeah, landscape design as a concept is so broad, and you can do it in so many different styles. But I'm trying to niche down into doing something very similar to what you just described. But by understanding archetypes and succession within a landscape that is left alone, I think you can, kickstart it in the right direction and get results in 2 to 3 years that are significant. So that's my plan. But I have to do it, I think, first in order to toot anyone's horn.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no substitution for experience.
Right. So I got to do dry well, dig everything up, put it back, sedges and milkweed everywhere.
How deep are the dry wells?
Oh, I don't know. I have to put them in. So I think standard is 4 feet. I bought a kit from Lowe's. I don't know if that's going to be the thing that I actually use, but I was just in a frenzy of I have to fix this problem right now.
Oh yeah.
You got the kit, got the corrugated PVC, and then I just didn't do anything. So it's collecting dust.
Know what that's like.
Yeah.
We're in that club.
Yeah.
I got a kitchen that's in that state right now.
Man, yeah, homeownership. I have exposed framing in my kitchen. We took down a drop ceiling and a piece of wall, and we're like, well, we'll revisit this in 12 months,
Yeah, I was down to the studs in my kitchen for quite some time.
Yeah.
But it was an improvement over what was,
Yeah.
Ripping it all apart
that's
was
the crazy
still
thing,
better.
right? Yeah. At least you can say it's in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kitchen was like, I think 8 by 12. And then, adjacent to it was the dining room. I took the wall out between. So yeah, just doing that, like even having it gutted was better than I have sheetrock up now.
Yeah.
Nice.
My wife, she's been very patient, but we'll get it done at some point.
Yeah. That's very validating, the taking the wall down as an improvement. That's what I want to do, but it's the only load bearing wall in the whole house.
Oh, really?
So it's like,
Then you got to get an engineer,
Yeah.
an architect.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to get it.
No.
I probably should. Who knows? We'll see. I'm not even knocking on that door yet. That's like I had one guy come out 2 years ago for a quote. It was within reason, but then my HVAC blew, which older. It was older than I was.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, all that money
Yeah.
gone.
What year was the house built?
56, I think.
Okay.
And then I think in the 70s there was some amount of renovation with the HVAC, and they put in like some drop ceiling stuff.
Yeah. I had drop
kinda
ceilings too.
Yeah.
And I have these in the whole upstairs. Like these are 12 by 24 tiles, which is just covering up plaster,
Right.
because rather than take down the plaster on the ceiling, which sucks because I had to do it in the, half of the first floor, they were just like, yeah, we'll stick this up there.
Yeah. I'm contemplating, honestly, doing something similar. I was going to frame in my kitchen because I took the drop ceiling out already. And there's a wire running. There's ductwork and stuff, which I have already kind of put up back where it belongs. But I was thinking about doing something, I guess not wood paneling, kind of shiplap. What is that material called? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is it beadboard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beadboard.
Is that what it is?
Beadboard is another style that has like
21st century wood paneling, pretty much.
a bead. Yeah, it just has a bead.
Yeah.
Bead would be like a semicircle.
Okay. So maybe doing something like that as a better looking drop ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not willing to do any of that until the wall comes down because
How far do you have to come down?
not far.
Yeah, you could always just just fur down the ceiling and then
Yeah.
just sheetrock it.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about doing. But we'll see. It's gonna come down when the wall comes down. So.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is I have all these things that I want to do, but it's like, well, I got to do this before that, and I don't want to do this because then I can't do that, and
It's like a snake eating its own tail.
yeah,
Kind of thing.
like if I had like $200K sitting around, I could just pay somebody to come and do all of it at once.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I should really paint the front door. It's like, well, I want to do the siding first, and maybe I'll just build a new door. Yeah, and then you just get into this analysis paralysis.
Yeah. In your guys' homes, do you have custom made furnitures, or is that
Rob laughs. He's got
shop side
plenty.
only? Yeah.
I do.
Nice.
Actually, I do because I learned
Yeah.
on a bunch of stuff. So I have some that you could proudly show off, and some that failures of one degree or another. But yeah, that's when I started. Basically, that's how I started.
Nice.
It's like proof of concept. Let's see. I'm gonna try and build a dresser here. Let's see how this goes.
Very nice.
Yeah, what do I have? I have a bed, 2 beds actually. I built myself a bed. I built my son a bed. We built some tables we used to do the podcast in my basement. We had like these like leather recliners and we used to film it, coffee table, side table. So those have been repurposed into a coffee table and side tables in my living room. I think that's it.
Yeah, the beds.
I might have some little bullshit doodads that I built, just sort of real functional things, just as temporary. But yeah, I'm building a kitchen now. It's all nice gray match cherry. I haven't touched it in, can't tell you how long, but
It's
there's
nice in
parts
theory.
here, they do exist.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. That's cool. That's cool. The only thing I've built in my house is one work table in my garage. What was it? Plywood and 2x3s.
Mm-hmm.
But it's level. So at least where it's at right now.
You got
That's all
buddies
you
who
can
are
ask for.
you got buddies who are woodworkers now. So
Nice,
anything
yeah,
you need.
heck
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you about the blanks that you were using for the Leone Kenji boxes. So they're 3/8, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, we could talk about this offline if you prefer, but I was going to ask you guys if it would be worth your time to make what would basically be coasters, but they would act as candle lids and then flip
cool.
them under for coasters.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if there's like a minimum order quantity or value that you'd be looking for out of that, but we could talk about it.
Yeah.
3/8, I think, is the perfect thickness.
Mhm.
And they would be, circular, of course. And I guess the two design options would be routed on the outside edge so they sit in,
Yep.
or routed on the inside edge so they could sit,
Over
kind of
top.
cup it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
3/8 is too thin for something like that, but
No, because it doesn't need to go too far.
right. Cool. Well, if you're interested, I'm interested. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I like that idea. What about maybe a piece of cork on what would be the inside when it's closed? So then when you flip it, or actually, well, even then you have the cork down when you sit it on. It'd be a little bit of
A little stable.
so imagine like that glued to a round piece of wood, maybe not that thick, but
Right. I that sounds cool.
I don't know about extinguishing the flame with that. Would that be
That would be a bad idea.
I
Yeah.
guess I mean,
You should blow out your candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't use a lid no matter what it's made out of, just because it could light on fire.
And I feel like it traps all the smoke in there.
That does
you get
affect
like black smoke and then it all.
Yeah, that affects like when you light it next for sure. You'll get that fragrance out of it if you trap the smoke in there, because it'll just settle in the wax. It might not be particularly powerful, but you'll notice it. Yeah, there was when I was starting this candle thing, I was looking at like accoutrement items, for basket building or whatever. Looking through this wholesaler site called Fair.com. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
No.
It's a good site. You can filter it for like US based manufacturers and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
But they had like, I guess because candles, again, being a low barrier to entry, anyone can do it. And a lot of people do. So catering to candle makers is like its own little niche industry. And candle snuffers are like a great add-on item for these. I think you don't need them. So I wouldn't feel right selling them to people. But that's supposed to be the preferred method. So you don't, I don't know, light your eyebrows on fire when you blow it out or something. I'm not
Even
really
for
sure.
like what would you call that? It's not a jarred candle. It's a poured candle.
A container candle. Yeah.
Like I've seen it for like a candlestick.
It's the same thing, but it's
Yeah.
just the little bell shaped top or snuffer is just on like a hinge. So that when you
okay.
you can get over the wick and
Yeah.
do what you got to do.
I was talking to a buddy. I was talking to Bliss, and I said, "Oh yeah, we have a candle maker coming on the podcast." And he goes, "Oh, tell him I have some shaker molds if he needs them." He's a big fan. Are you familiar with the Shakers?
I don't think so.
They're like a sect of it's a Protestant.
Yeah, they're definitely Protestant.
Yeah. They're like all but dead now. I think there's maybe like 2 living,
Yes.
but they came to sort of infamy in the early 1800s as furniture. I mean, aside from being a religious movement, and they called them the Shakers because they sort of like went into convulsions kind of thing.
The people went into
yeah, and they talked in tongues and
wow.
but they were all about labor and about craft. That was a big part of their religious beliefs or whatever. And they were huge chair makers, and there's a whole design style based on what they made. But they made candles, and he's got some candlestick molds or something.
Yeah, the candle table.
But yeah, I guess this kind of wax
Yeah.
is not suitable.
No,
for
yeah, you need a harder wax for that. That's where like straight soy or paraffin comes in handy. But those are like, I would love to make them because they're just cool. I think like a candle on like a candelabra is like so elegant and cool. But such a pain in the butt to make because you have to make the candle and then wick it. Usually, you have to pour them upside down. So it's like you make it, you pop a hole in it. How? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe a heated like thread thing or something.
Yeah.
And then you got to thread it through.
What about beeswax? Is that used for candles or?
Yes. Oh, I guess those could be made out of beeswax. Yeah. Beeswax is very hard. So it's used as an additive sometimes to firm it up if you got to firm it up.
Our buddy John, we were talking about, he has bees.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And he makes
honey.
The honey is
Nice.
killer.
Yeah, dude. Fresh honey.
Yeah.
So good.
He comes up by constantly. He's like, I brought honey.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got like honey on honey.
Yeah. You can't eat honey?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I fall off the wagon Pretty often these days, depending on the stress level.
Yeah.
It's usually what determines.
Oh, dude, honey and butter on toast.
Yeah. Well, if you watch Outdoor Boys, he's all about the honey and butter.
Yes, yeah.
That guy, you know how much money that guy makes on YouTube?
Yeah,
It's
an insane
insane.
amount. He's got one video, 67 million views, that Nerf Wars video. Dude, the guy must be making hundreds of dollars a day on that one video for 6 years.
Yeah, I read somewhere that he makes like $80,000 a month from YouTube ads, from Google AdSense. And then that's on top of, well, I guess he doesn't really like sell anything.
Yeah, I don't know that he sponsors or he is sponsored by anything. He might be. I wouldn't be surprised if he was sponsored by like the maker of one of those, any number of like snowy terrain, heavy machinery things that he has.
Yeah, his videos are cool.
Yeah.
I forget how I stumbled upon his stuff.
He blew up recently.
Yeah.
He's been big for a while, I think, but he just also popped off recently.
And what he's done is he's allowed, or maybe not allowed, he's cultivated this sort of thing where he's doing what he wants to do, and that's what's creating the content and what's making the money. It's just a self-perpetuating. He's like, oh, let's go to Hawaii for a week, and we're going to go spearfishing, and then we're going to go on a boat tour, and then this and that. Mm-hmm. So by spending this money, he's making himself money. It's a wild concept.
Yeah, that's the dream, man. It's 100% personality driven.
Mm-hmm.
But
and he's not even like, I mean, he's pretty good, but he's not like, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him like a showman, you know, but he's not like a bad guy. Seems like a good guy.
Yeah, the stuff he does, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe that's the secret sauce, being Mr. Relatable.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. Especially if you're doing something that's like, you can also do this. If you want to say that to somebody, then you can't be like overtly removed, you know, from their identity.
Yeah, there was I was listening to these guys talk about the quarterbacks from San Francisco. And do you follow football at all?
Not so much, but I think I know what you're talking about.
So Brock Purdy is the San Francisco quarterback currently. He was the last pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. They call that Mr. Irrelevant. And he's, you know, just an average looking guy. And everybody sort of roots for him. You know, he's like a great underdog story. Mm-hmm. And he's replaced a guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, who looks like a movie star. And, you know, he was coveted, you know, they traded for him and everything like that. And he got blamed for everything. Like whenever they, you know, whenever they lost, like they lost in the Super Bowl, it was like, oh, he overthrew the guy, this and that. So there's this big disparity in how the public views these two guys. But the thing is, their stats are almost identical. So it's the relatable guy that people, you know, it's like, Brock Purdy, last guy, he's not so handsome. Where Garoppolo, it's like, F that guy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, perspective.
Did you guys, I imagine you watched the game this weekend?
Some of it. I don't, I gave up watching football a long time ago, but I caught, like maybe half of it total.
I went to bed at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah. I caught the first half, and then, I was at my girlfriend's parents' house, and then we had to go home.
Yeah, I always say, like, I'm in it for the snacks. Like, if you invite me over to watch football and there's going to be snacks, I'll come watch the game. But
Agreed.
Like, you're not going to catch me at home on Sunday putting on the football game. Yeah. You're just not going to.
I'm with you on that.
Or any sports, you know, for that matter. I played sports. I enjoyed playing sports, but I don't have 3 hours for a football game or a hockey game or a baseball game. So I feel like like 6 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I used to be really enthusiastic about watching football, but it's I don't know. You know, I guess tastes change. I like to watch the highlight wrap up show. Like, just give it to me.
It's become so commercialized, and like, why does the pregame show start like 6 hours before the game? You know, and then they have like skits. They got who's that guy that does the Frank Caliendo? And it's funny, but it's like it's not about football anymore.
No,
you know, it's like WWF. It's like wrestling now, where it's like just this. They've created this entertainment empire They had a SpongeBob Super Bowl this year.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
where they actually had like SpongeBob and Patrick and then a human guy that were doing like an alternate broadcast of the Super Bowl on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So I like to watch and see who won. I can get that in a half an hour.
Right.
And the other thing, which, it's my own personal, bugaboo, is like there's so much money. The NFL generates $9 billion and players.
Don't they not pay taxes or something?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't.
Like a quarterback salary, a good quarterback salary is $40 million a year. And I don't want to question whether they deserve it or not. There's something about all that money going to this small group.
Right.
When obviously, if you take a look around in the world, there's so much that, there's so much that we could do, So the disparity there, it just kind of, it's.
Meanwhile, they're charging, I don't know, what's face value of a ticket, $95 a beer. If you're just a regular kid, you can't go to a football, and that's who it's supposed to be for,
right.
Right. Yeah. So I don't want to bash it. It's just, that's my personal thing. Like,
I'm with you.
There's too much inequality in the world and too much concentration of wealth. And even though I root for these teams and, all this other stuff, it's like, can't we spread it around a little bit?
Yeah.
Well said. I agree. Sure.
What really put a bad taste in my mouth is, like, I played football for 13 years and then, like, becoming an adult and seeing this sort of, and it's mostly with men, this, like, toxic machismo football team thing where it's like, I don't know, like an opportunity to become violent over a game, like people just getting overly, fired up over something that's just like happening on TV. I don't know. There's just like a weird thing about it.
Fan short for fanatic.
Yeah. It's just like, this isn't real life,
No.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just so available, right? And you're exposed to it at such a young age. You can just let it melt into your identity of who you become. But I'm with you guys on that. Not too big in it.
Yeah. And I love sports. Like Jeff, I played sports and it was a big part of my youth. But it's changed. Things have changed and my opinions have changed as well.
Yeah.
So, we all evolve, hopefully.
Ideally.
I think fantasy football, around the era that fantasy football came around, that's like really when I was like, I've had enough of this. It's like, you mean that you're spending all week like playing on your phone, like trading players on a team that
it's very obsessive.
Yeah.
I actually have no idea how fantasy football works.
Neither do I.
I'm not sure it's really a thing anymore.
No, it's big.
Oh, it is?
It's big.
You have like a fake draft where you create, and usually it's like with a group of people. So like we would get together and have a draft and we would draft our players. And then like whoever ends up with the best stats at the end of the week is the winner of the week or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they compute the stats, but if you watch any sports television, which I do, they have like all kinds of
like if you're a running back, how many how many carries, how many yards,
points you make. So it's a thing for sure. And the betting is huge now too. Like they've legalized all this betting. And
I said to my wife, I'm like, man, imagine like if you had a problem, like you could just gamble anywhere now.
Yeah, and for as much money as you want.
Yeah, and they're like, if you sign up, we'll give you $200.
Yeah.
If you take a loan out for $10,000, we'll give you $50.
We're not telling you that you have to spend $200 before we give you that $200. But
that's insane.
Yeah, so it's just another one of those things, you know.
Oh shit,
What do you got?
We got to wrap this up, and we have to thank our sponsors. When you need the right saw blade for the job, put your trust in Ridge Carbide Tools.
That's right. For over 50 years, Ridge Carbide has been producing industrial saw blades designed with exact specifications for the cutting results you expect.
Before you buy, call Ridge Carbide and they'll help you determine the right tool that meets your needs and your budget.
After the sale, Ridge Carbide provides sharpening services for all your saw blades, dado sets, router bits, and jointer planer knives.
Located in Kansas, Ridge Carbide Tools provides high-quality products with outstanding customer service at a fair price. What are you cutting? Our blades arrived on Monday.
Oh.
That's where we send our blades to be sharpened. So we sent like a 20-pound box of,
Nice.
of saw blades. I checked the tracking before I threw away the receipt. We also have to thank our sponsor, Unita.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been using the hell out of the 3x4 sanders. You can get your own at sandpaper.com. Use Joinery15 to save 15%. And make sure you use that because I know a bunch of people bought sanders.
That's right.
And they didn't use the code. So
Yeah.
It'll save you some money.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So, any parting words of wisdom? Where can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Bhaaloo Candle Co. BHAALOO Candle Co. Or Bhaaloo Wildscape, same spelling. Wildscape, WILDSCAPE. And Bhaaloo.com.
Yeah, so it's Bhaaloo with an H in there.
Bhaaloo with an H, yeah. The BH, my name is spelled with a BH.
Mhm.
So that's been like an identifying thing for my
Yeah.
whole life. It's always been like, somebody spell your name right, Brian. I'm like, no, hold on. And it's been like a whole dance I've had to do. So
BH Ryan.
yeah.
That's how I now remember.
Yes, yeah. So I've to be able to like, put that on a business card, I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We'll put those links in the podcast description for
Awesome.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. And no words of wisdom, but thanks for having me on. And I admire you guys. You're doing some really cool stuff over here at Greene Street.
We admire you.
We all admire each other.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Likewise, yeah. I'm looking forward to working with you guys in the future.
Keensburg strong.
That's right.
Yeah. When we need a guest last minute, we know who to call.
I will come over here in my PJs, man. No problem. We could do a candlelight podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Well, those can be unscented. That would be a little crazy, I think.
Yeah. If you had seen the old podcast studio here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We needed scented candles in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This place was super musty. I'll leave it at this. It was like, I always say, it's like if you had like an older brother and had a friend who like had a basement where they smoke pot.
Yes.
That's like what it looked like.
Oh, that's an oddly comforting visual.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty.
But I understand what you mean.
Like there could be like UV, like
Yes.
those like
Black
velour
lights.
posters.
There's just a
Oh.
tarped off area.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Nice. Cool.
Well, thanks for coming. And thanks everybody for listening.
Take care.
Thanks.
We truly appreciate you listening. If you want to support the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Share the show with your friends or consider subscribing to our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Time